Perfect. Beautiful. Beautiful singing voice, champ.
That wasn't me. That was the dude from the darkness.
Oh, you're the dude from the darkness? I never knew.
Yeah, that's me. I cut my hair before every stream. It grows back by the time I have to upload on my own channel.
That's impressive. And you have us all believe that you like never leave your place in Jersey ever.
And this is all a trick, man.
I know. I feel like we don't even know if you go out. We just think you're in that room all the time.
This is exactly how I need it to be.
That's how you need to be. I believe it. I believe that's what's going on.
I need everybody to always believe that this is the only place that I've ever been.
Yeah.
So that they don't expect me anywhere. So that when I do show up there,
yeah,
it's like magic, like Santa Claus just appeared.
Yeah.
Speaking of Santa Claus, hey, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys?
I'm here.
We got it. I know. Sorry for all the time changes. We're here. Sorry to the audience that's tuning in right now. I know we just jumped on 45 minutes earlier than you saw. Actually, are we 45 minutes early or 45 minutes late? What would you guys consider this?
That's fair. Because I thought the same thing. You text me and you're like, "Hey, can you get on now?" And I'm like, "Man, I just adjusted for the other time."
We're both. Neo says we're both.
It's a wash, though, isn't it? If we're 45 minutes early and 45 minutes late, it means we're right on time.
It's the classic glass half full, glass half empty conundrum. It's
something like that.
I do have horrible news, which is one of the reasons why I was a little delayed. My poor dog, who's not behind me right now. Apparently last night while we were at the concert, Alan, I guess she saw a deer in our backyard and went to chase it.
No.
Twisted her ankle really bad, and now she can't put any weight on it, and I've been stressed all morning.
You are a fucking asshole. You know that? I was getting ready for you to be like, it got hit by a semi or something. And I was like, because you were like slowly, you were slowly talking about it. And I'm like, he's about to say the deer ran out into the road and then the dog followed him and then they got hit by a truck. That's what my mind was just going into, the worst fucking possible scenarios.
Listen, with all respect to the viewers and to you and to Champ, there is zero chance I'd be on this podcast this morning if my dog got hit by
That's what I was saying.
There's no way.
I was like, and he's on this podcast right now?
No, we were trying to decide if it's worth taking her to like an emergency vet or if it's just a sprain and she's going to be fine after a couple of days. We don't know. So she can't put like any weight on it. And it's heartbreaking.
That sucks. Poor baby.
Sucks.
How old is she?
Yeah. Too old. She's like 10. We think she's about 10, which is pretty old for a German Shepherd.
Oh, wow. Damn.
Well, I hope for a full recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope everything goes well.
You don't want a dog walking around with a walker like that, It's really hard for them. I've seen them try, man.
We'll get her back here in her bed in no time. Don't worry.
Okay.
Well,
I feel much more comfortable.
Are we live, by the way?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Sure.
I said the audience is here.
What's up, everybody?
Well, welcome to the Solid Sound Podcast, where we bring you morbid news before we start our actual podcast. Well, not morbid. It seemed like it. The way that it was going, direction, I was waiting for it, and then it turned into sprained ankle, which I'm grateful that's all it was. But we're going to be talking about BABYMETAL. We're going to be talking about Nemophila and Amuse, just like, setting the fans straight, giving them hope, sharing their little love letter to us and how fair use works. So it's going to be an interesting podcast today. Also, we'll have all of our podcasts on all streaming platforms after today. So look out for that. Spotify, Apple Music, it'll be up there. So we should probably just do the BABYMETAL concert first, huh?
Yeah. Drop the news.
Baby. Yeah.
How was it?
There's a concert.
Shane and I met up in Dallas, and I got to start with this first. We recorded our review like immediately after the concert because we're like, we have to record right afterwards so we can like get our excitement afterwards, because I always feel so hyped up afterwards, and then we just say the most, everything that comes to our mind. And we recorded this whole entire video, and we're like, oh, great, cool, we got it. And then I went back to Janine's, and I went to go edit the video, and Shade's phone didn't accept the mic or something, or it didn't plug in all the way, and the audio was so horrible. I was like, I don't know what to do. I put some AI isolation on it. Didn't work. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, what can I do? What the hell can I do to fix this? I'm like, track separator. And it fucking worked. I dropped it in the track separator and then did the double vocal separation. And it like separated shades and my voice out of it. It's not the best, but it actually worked pretty well.
I was impressed because on my end, the audio didn't sound horrible, but it definitely didn't sound like it was mic'd up. It sounded like the phone was recording the audio. So it makes sense that you had to do some magic.
You should have.
It didn't sound bad, but it wasn't great.
You should have saw my face when I opened the video and I heard Janine's voice super clear when she said "go." I was like, "Uh-oh."
Yeah.
That means that was the iPhone mic. I was like, no. But anyways, we got it up. So if you want to check out our reaction immediately afterwards to that Baby Metal concert, check out that first. But we're just gonna give a breakdown, go song by song, and see if we missed anything.
Before we do the breakdown, Alan, I do want to point out one thing because you left this part out of the storytelling element of what you just said to everybody. The text you sent me, by the way, was out of context, and you just said the audio didn't work with no context. You just said the audio didn't work. And my first thought was, oh shit, the interview didn't get recorded. And so I didn't think it was the post chat. You just said the audio didn't work. And I was like, well, there's no way we can redo that. So like, at least we're still going to talk about this. So you gave me a jump scare last night for sure.
Well, you gave me a jump scare by your dog. You just like fired right back at me this morning. So we're just trading jump scares right now. But yeah, so track separator really good for fixing audio. Apparently, I had to do a lot of EQing and compression just to like get our voices like even to match it out. It took me a good minute, but we got it up. It's out. You guys can check it out after this podcast. We'll have the interview with I don't want to mess up his name. Giant from Bloodywood. Giant. Remember that. Giant from Bloodywood. I got it right when I met him, but like I had lack of sleep. I just did my 3-hour set on Friday. I flew to Dallas to this concert. Just flew back literally 10 minutes ago, and then I got another 3-hour set after this. So the weekend's almost over, though. It's almost over. It's getting there. All right, so Baby Metal concert. This was your first time ever seeing Baby Metal live, so take it away, Shade.
Man, yeah. So they had the two opening acts, Bloodywood and Black Veil Brides, and they were fun. They were fun. I do wish that they swapped the order a little bit, but Bloodywood got the crowd pumped up in the beginning, so maybe I don't know. It was cool.
Something I remembered after our talk was that they always alternate the openers. So I wonder if Bloodywood opens sometimes before Baby Metal and then Black Veil Brides opens for Baby Metal. That's what they did a while back for their shows. I'd
be really curious about what happened at Houston on Friday. Like, did Bloodywood come out second at Houston and they're just alternating opening acts?
Yeah, that's what they did last time with Death Clock and Jason. No, it's Death Clock and someone else. Can't remember the other group that was with them. I know it's Jason Richardson and Death Clock. Was it another act? I can't remember.
I think that was it.
That was it, right?
I think it was just Jason Richardson. Then there was a switch between Death Clock and Baby Metal, depending on the venue.
Neo said Bloodywood was first. Kevin said Bloodywood was first in Houston. Okay, so maybe that's just the order.
That's wrong.
Maybe they'll switch it.
That is just absolutely fucking wrong. They need to not do that. Bloodywood needs to open for Baby Metal. It just makes sense. Nothing against Black Veil Brides. They're great and stuff. Not my thing. Very just boring for me. It just was. They're all great musicians, but it was just boring for me. But if they were the first band, that's pretty cool because it's like some badass music to set it off. And then you got Bloodywood like ramping up the upbeatness, and then you got Baby Metal that just like completely obliterates everything.
Yeah, if they did it the opposite way, it'd be like a crescendo of excitement and anticipation until Baby Metal, because like Bloodywood just literally just brings it the entire set, like for 60 minutes or 45 minutes, whatever it was. It was like 100% the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Baby Metal portion, man, I've seen so many of their concerts now, like on YouTube, and watching from like the master file of all the concerts recorded over the years. I feel like I've seen like hundreds of performances of these songs, and seeing it live in person with the entire crowd just jumping and singing along the washois and like the soirées and stuff like that from like the crowd moments was just insane. And then of course Road to Resistance was wild. The Wall of Death, the actual like mosh pit going on during Road to Resistance was epic. Yeah, they know how to capture an audience and just put it on. I'd be curious to see the perspective of that show from someone who was like seated the whole time or like in the lawn. For some of those moments, because like they had the visual of seeing the pit going crazy while also seeing the stage. And when you're in the pit getting bumped around and shoving and going crazy, like you lose some of the scope because it's so like rapid and it's just crazy. So I'd be curious to hear, you know, how the show sounded and how it looked from someone who was like had the full perspective of what was going on.
Well, I wasn't out all the way in the field, but I was out in the stand sitting on a seat, and it felt the same no matter where I went. It sounded just as good to me.
That's
so
cool.
when I was in the seats, it sounded great. It sounded fantastic. I loved the mix, the whole thing. Only Black Veil Brides was the weakest mix out of all of them. Couldn't hear the vocals that well. They had a really heavy backing track presence that he was relying on, which sucks.
His screams were really fucking good.
Yeah, because the
screams were really
screams
good
he was
live.
doing. Yeah, he has amazing
But
screams.
all of his cleans vocals was just lost. It was hard to hear him.
I don't know what it is, and you know he's a good vocalist, but there was backing tracks 100%, and I feel like they put him a little louder than they were supposed to, except for the screams. The screams, you can hear them really raw. You could tell the difference between Bloodywood screaming and doing their vocals and then them. There's a huge difference, like where you can hear like with the audio. So there's just a different way that they mixed it, you know? But I do know Black Veil Brides does a lot more production, a lot more mixing. They put extra guitar tracks and stuff like that. And everything.
Yeah.
So different beast, different era too of like how they do music.
Also, we also should probably talk about the woes of the priority access VIP bullshit that happened. So I doubt this will happen at other venues. I think it was just a Toyota Music Factory thing, but there was people lined up all day. All right, people got there really early in the morning, lined up all day, got the numbers on their hand and all of that. They allow the check-in for the VIP, so everyone gets kind of shuttled into the venue. They get your VIP thing, you get your lanyard, and we're all waiting inside the venue, kind of lined up respectively to like where people were. And then they just started pushing people out, like yelling, like, "Hey, there's fire marshal's pissed. Like everyone needs to get out." Like the tone of which they were saying was like
they were hurting us like cattle.
Fed up.
They were hurting us like cattle.
And then a lot of people who had been waiting in line lost their spot, and it's like that sucks. Like one of the guys from my Discord, his name is Zertix. He's probably in the chat here. He was there since 8:30 in the morning, and he lost his spot, so he didn't even get the rail. He had to stand next to my dumbass the whole time. So
yeah, I mean that's pretty messed up.
That sucked.
I think when Champ and I saw Baby Metal in New York, that was a great experience. It was really cool. We had like perfect seats, but on this show, this was by far the best performance I've ever seen with Baby Metal live. And I think right now it is the closest I think I've gotten to that Japan experience, even though it's nowhere near it. It's the closest so far because of Champ. The difference between this Baby Metal concert, what we saw, is they had all the screens and stuff set up. Like they have like the 3-piece screen thing going on, and then they're on a little pedestal that lifts them up and has more screens under it. So we got more of that experience. You know how they do at like you know, in Japan and stuff, Champ. It was like that. It wasn't like when we saw them where it was way more stripped back. It looks like they got a tremendous budget this time around. And to be fair, like the whole place was packed. I was wondering because I was like, it wasn't packed at first, but like when Baby Metal went on, whole pit was all packed, and then all the seats filled up very quickly, and then the yard was all standing. I was like, oh shit, there's a lot of people here. There's way more than I thought. And I'm curious how many people flew in too, because when it came back to El Paso, there was a couple Baby Metal fans that had shirts on when we were flying back this morning. So there a lot of people flew in also.
What was the venue that they were at?
Toyota Music Factory, the Pavilion. Which I thought I had been there before, and I was wrong. I had never set foot in there before.
Yeah, no, I have never been there.
I was confident I'd been there when I booked the tickets, you know, like months ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I've been there. It's a cool venue. And then I got there and realized it was outdoor. And then again, this is just the common sense just completely leaving my fucking brain for this. It's called the Pavilion. Of course it's outside. Like, of course it's outside. It didn't even cross my mind. I was like, it's the Toyota Music Factory, the Pavilion. I'm like, of course it's outside.
I would have never drawn to that conclusion, but I'm an idiot. So
yeah, it is true. It'd be really weird if you like walked inside a building and then you had to go under a pavilion, which was already inside of a building.
Yeah. I mean, we were under cover the whole time. It was just hot because of all the people, especially when Baby Metal started and the entire pit collectively got like 4 feet closer to the stage, and so everyone up front was like, dude, pushed in. We got real comfortable with each other.
So in the seats though, it was pretty bad because the sun was coming down and we're getting just fucking toasted on the right side of your face. So being in the pit was definitely better to be there during that time because we're getting roasted. But finally, do you
think the show was sold out?
I don't know.
Had to be close.
I mean, they could have stuffed more people.
It's hard. It's hard when it's open seating like that. When it's just like when the pit. So like the amount of actual seats, I would guess maybe 500, maybe 1,000 seats total. But there was like the lawn and the pit had to be 6,000 or 7,000 people.
Yeah, they qualify it at 8,000 capacity.
Yeah,
so
had to be close.
I don't know what they mean by capacity though, because it's hard to tell. Like when there's standing room, you know, like what are they talking about? How many people can fit side by side like that? You know,
I would assume it's based off the fire marshal standards of like how many people are safely allowed to be on the lawn, how many people can safely be in the pit, and then they sell tickets according to that number that's aligned. And we know the fire marshals care because they kicked everyone out. So we know that
that's
they're
why
involved.
That's the first time I've ever had anything like that happen to me or anyone even give a fuck.
that was just mind blowing to me.
Because like I remember the Hanabiye one, they really needed a fire marshal before they like blew up. We were in this small little show and like we could barely fit in the fucking building and we're just stuffing ourselves in there. It was insane. I know people are going to want to know about this. We got the set list right here. This BABYMETAL Death was the first song they started off with. This has been pretty common. I think at most of the shows I've seen is always BABYMETAL Death, Megasune, Papaya, or something along those lines. Definitely these five: BMC, Metal E. And then we had ConCon. So we got ConCon, which just to talk about real quick, it was awesome. It was so cool to see it live because I just recorded a reaction to a fan cam. So the fact that I could watch the fan cam and then see it live, holy crap, it's fucking way better than that fan cam. It was very, very, very cool. Song 3, we had a little bit of a gripe about this one because it was a lot of tracks for the vocals, but it still was heavy as hell.
The Kami band brought it, man.
The Kami band was like spectacular. And we were talking about this during our review. We wish they had more of a spotlight. We really do. Because this was the best like Kami band instrumental I've seen in person. Because this was better than when they came here with Death Clock. This was like top notch. Whoever mixed Baby Metal for this gig did a fantastic job. I could hear the solos so clear. They were amazing. They sounded fantastic throughout the whole thing. But during song 3, I had a revelation while I was listening to him. It sounds like fucking the Yoshi noises from Yoshi's Island. I'm gonna put it together when I edit this video later. I'm gonna put them in there. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. I'm like, why is that so familiar? When I was like that when they do those like chopped up vocals, I'm like, that fucking sounds like Yoshi. That's what that noise. I was like,
someone in my Discord put this in. I just sent you on Discord, or I just sent you in our Discord chat. Someone put that in. If you can put that on the screen.
Have you've heard song 3 already, right, Champ? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Dude, y'all broke it down together.
Champ froze. Oh yeah,
I'm here.
Oh, so here's the Yoshi sounds. No,
that's what I was going to ask if that's what you were talking about.
No. It's when no, when she does it, when Yoshi does it, yes sir. When you have that, like when they do that.
That was pretty good, Alan. That was pretty good.
I don't know. I just thought of Yoshi. I'm like, oh my god, no wonder why I love this song so. It's like triggering like the days playing Super Nintendo all fucking day. You know, I played the shit out of some Yoshi's Island. You guys ever play that game?
Of course. Yoshi's also from Japan.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got his passport and everything.
Then we had Headbanger, which was amazing. Ratatata.
Oh, that was so cool.
Came out. Gimme Chocolate. I wasn't expecting Headbanger for some reason, but I was so happy
I wasn't expecting as long of a headbang. Like when I don't know how to describe that part of the song, but I know everyone knows what I'm talking about.
If
like
you don't break
whenever
your
they do
neck,
the scream. Yeah.
If you don't break your neck, you're not doing it right.
When Momo and Moa come out and like get everyone headbanging, I knew they were going to do that. They do it every time. I wasn't expecting them to do it for as long as they did. And that was super cool. Like it went on for a long time, and I liked it. It was cool.
Yeah. Then we got From Me to You with the Poppy collab. We got Karate. Bro, I was so happy to hear Karate, dude, when it came out.
That was crazy.
I felt bad for Shade. I was like fucking singing in his ear, I think.
I was just punching the air, too. He was next to me singing. I was just like, oops, oops.
And then, of course, they ended it with
didn't get hit.
They ended it with Road to Resistance. I really appreciated it. They played a lot of new songs. They played like all of their collabs almost. Like almost. Yeah. So many of them. I mean, all the...
At least off the new album.
BMC! I forgot about this. They didn't put F-Zero's rap in it. They just had a guitar solo instead.
Yeah, that's Papaya. You're thinking of Papaya.
Oh, yeah, Papaya. Sorry. Yeah. My bad. Not BMC. Papaya, yeah. They put a solo instead of the rapping. Why do you think they did that? Because that kind of threw me off a little bit.
It's a money thing, man. Apparently they've been doing that. This is not me knowing from like my own experience, but just other people telling me. Apparently they've been doing that for the last couple of tours. They took his part out, and I think it's about licensing. It's probably about paying for having his image used on the live show. I couldn't tell you because everything's so behind. Like
you can still hear his vocals on certain parts though, so that's why I'm not sure if that's
but it's the image on the screen.
Oh,
I bet it's the image on the screen, and so. I'm assuming that. I wouldn't know, but...
Okay, so let me clarify. F-Zero's rap was taken out. He was in his voice is still in the other parts of the mix. Like, he's not completely taken out. Maybe they came to an agreement where they just took out only the rap part. But there was another... they do show the face of all the people that collabed, so I wonder.
Except him.
But that would be weird that he would even have some licensing dispute. I'm sure it's something to do with management. Hey, if you guys all know, let us know. Could be copyright
Nobody
performance
knows,
rights. Yeah, we're going to be talking about Amuse and copyright because they put out a lovely letter to the fans here in a second. But I enjoyed the concert. It was my favorite BABYMETAL concert. I am totally convinced to try to get tickets to that November one now because I do want to see a one-man show. Champ, we should get you out there with us. We should do a live podcast together or something.
Yeah.
I'm already booked. It happen in November.
I'm already booked.
Yeah, man. Send me the plane.
Check out our Patreon, guys, if you want to support us. We're going to try to get a whole live podcast and set something up in November for the BABYMETAL concert. And then we'll set up a venue like we did with the Bandmade one, and then we'll just have a live podcast. What do we do before and after the show? So yeah, if anyone knows a good venue spot or something like that, hit us up. Let us know in the Discord. We definitely want to plan something. Because after seeing that concert, I'm like, dude, I have to see like a one-man show type thing. I definitely want to see him in Japan.
Especially with more production too, because that was already next level compared to the other two, acts. And obviously the venue is going to be limited to what you can do, where you can do it. But when they have like their entire stadium, they have the entire Intuit Dome to be able to build out what they want to do, it's going to be insane.
After watching this concert, something that really stood out to me that I'm excited for in the future, not anything to do with BABYMETAL, is Bloodywood. I want to see what Bloodywood can do with some serious production and how that would come out. Because they're already good without the production, but imagine if they get some good ass production with their sound. I think they will be really heavy. They'll be really heavy hitting.
If they add like visuals, they add the lights, they add the smoke and the fire, like things like that would really elevate their performance even to like a new high. Because they're already, like you said, already insane. Yeah. But add some of that extra flair, and I think they got something special.
I think there will totally be a DVD for LA. I really do. Have you listened to a lot of Bloodywood, Champ?
No, I've only heard the song with BABYMETAL.
Oh wow! Okay, we're gonna have to show you some songs. We'll definitely get Champ in the loop on some Bloodywood.
But just thinking about what you guys were just talking about, and like adding a little bit of pomp and circumstance to the live shows, and some extra production. There's a part of me, and obviously I didn't see the show with you guys, but there's a part of me that like really appreciates the rawness. Like when I go see a lot of bands, I like it the best, I think, most of the time when it's just the band like on stage playing the music that I know and seeing how good they are at it, rather than having a ton of production around it to like enhance it. Because I really want to know how good they are as a band, like a live band, rather than wanting to know how good their production team is.
Let me clarify production. I'm talking about, I want to hear exactly what you're talking about, but I want the surroundings better production. You know
visually?
Yeah, visually. Like, I love the extra visuals, because you can still hear Sue really raw, which I was so thankful for, because sometimes they'll overdub her like too much, but no, it's perfect. You could hear her raw voice, except for song 3. Song 3 was a little weird. They did a lot of backing with that.
That was one of the issues when we went to see them, and I think it was because of the more intimate setting, and there was a lot less people there. I think that venue only held like 1,700 people or something when we went. But like the sound isn't the same, you know. So it was almost hard to tell what was live and what wasn't, because everything was so compact into like one sound, rather than a larger area where things can kind of be broken up depending on where you're standing and stuff.
And I get what you're saying. Like, New York City was great, but Champ, this was on a whole other fucking level. Like,
I believe it. Like, they couldn't do anything at New York City.
You could hear Kami Band. Like, you could hear it when they're riffing off. Like, they made sure whatever tracks they had were all the way down at this concert. It was great. At least for the instruments. Like, you could feel the raw fucking instruments, the raw drums. You could hear all the drum mistakes, because there was some drum mistakes, but you could tell like it was there. You know what I mean? Like, the feel. You could tell that like Barone had like a little slowdown, but like kept sped back up. I think it was in the beginning. It was funny. I was like, oh yeah, they're doing the real shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
it's almost like the difference between like a street performer versus like a Vegas show. Like you like both, right? If I'm walking down the street and like there's someone busking and they just sound awesome. It's an acoustic. They just have like an amp and like a speaker, and they sound awesome, right? I'm gonna sit and listen and probably, you know, give them a little tip and move on. Like, it's cool. It's like raw. It's enjoyable. But then there's a different scale of like, if you take that same artist and give them $1 million per show budget to just amplify their vision, it's going to be a whole different experience. Like, it may not be, like you said, that more intimate raw, but both are enjoyable. I would like to see, now that I've seen that raw version of Bloodywood, I'd like to see what they're able to do.
I think you could keep Bloodywood the same for the sound. I just want to see the visuals around them enhance and to match their energy. Because they were trying to, because the problem when you're on a stage that big, you're just like, these dudes, you look so small on the stage, like just moving around. And that works in an intimate setting because you're larger than life because you're in a smaller venue, right? When you're on a big stage like that, I feel like you need the big visuals, you know, with it. But you can definitely do that live sound just like how Bloodywood was. They didn't have to change anything about their sound, just the visuals around it, like to match the storytelling and stuff that they were talking about. And their lyrics are powerful, so having those like added with it, I think would enhance it a lot. Put them on a whole other level. I like a mix of both, is what I'm saying. I like a little bit of both. I just want the band to be entertained. I don't want to be bored. Again, I'm not trying to shit on Black Veil Brides, but I was just bored out of my mind, man. Like, I just couldn't get into it. I was like, bro.
I think it also depends on like how much you've seen in the past, right? Like, we've seen just a bajillion shows in our lifetime. You know what I mean? So like, if that was the first show that you've ever gone to, right, and you heard Black Veil Brides playing a nasty set, you might be like, this is fucking awesome.
That's a good
point. But we've seen literally thousands of shows. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know, a live band playing eventually does just, you're like, I've seen this 100 times.
You know, that's a good point, because if I heard In the End for the first time live, you're right. If I take a step back, In the End was fucking incredible. The solos were off the rail.
I think if you just bookmarked their set, the first song, Knives and Pins, the last song, In the End, you could take out the middle and it would have been really enjoyable. Like, the first song, I loved it.
I agree.
The last song, I loved it. Everything
Bleeders
in the middle,
was
it's
good.
funny.
Bleeders was good too.
When they were talking about like, this is one of our older songs, I'm like, for some reason those just hit better than their newer stuff, because he would say, this is one of our newer songs, this is an older one.
Bro, I thought they sounded the same. I thought the older ones sounded the same as the new ones. I don't know. In the End was great though. Like,
In the End was a banger.
It's so sad, because if I was like 18-year-old Alan, I would have enjoyed it so much more because of the guitar shred. But I think once, like, for me as a guitarist, just like learning that stuff for so many years, I guess you just see everything. It is what Champ's saying. It totally is. I get what you're saying.
Heathen in the chat just made a good point. So I'm seeing him again in Chicago, but they're swapping halfway through. So they're swapping Blattville Brides for Ginger. So it'll be Bloodywood, Ginger, and Baby Metal.
What an
in
upgrade.
Chicago. And I am so excited.
Yes.
There's a ridiculous upgrade. That's like going.
I feel like with that set,
different
you can
levels.
keep the order. You can keep the order. Bloodywood,
Yeah.
keep everyone hyped up. They're a great opening, dude.
Yeah.
The energy they bring, like the fact that they were moshing on like the first song tells you that they can bring it. And then Ginger.
Damn, I want to go now.
And then Baby Metal.
I want to go to Chicago now. Fuck.
Dude, we got like 30 people from my Discord going to Chicago. It's going to be insane.
That sounds fun.
We're going to have a blast.
Yeah, that sounds pretty sick, man. Ginger is nasty. Ginger is one of those bands that like is in that kind of grouping of new metal bands that's actually gotten popular over the last few years.
Yeah.
But I actually think that they're like a really talented band rather than a bunch of the other ones that I'm not going to name for fear that everybody's going to shit their pants over it right now. But Ginger's
Just
at the
give the
top of that
initials.
list. ST will be the first one that I'll throw out there.
All right, so but we will get something planned for November with all three of us. We'll do something definitely for that show. I'll try to get to Chicago. What date is that?
July 8th, July 7th,
Oh,
July
it's
9th.
right before my show.
One of those.
It's right before my show in Boston, so I might have to do one of those. Fly to Chicago and then go to Chicago to Boston and play a set. And
Hey, I promise you, you'll have a lot of friendly faces. We got a ton of people going to that one.
all right.
More people are going to that one than the LA show so far, or like just from like people in my community. But
Yeah.
LA, I can't wait for that, man. If you had to pick one, I'd do the LA show, unless you really want to see Ginger. Unless you really
I
want
do want to see Ginger. Plus, we're trying to. We could probably get an interview set up with Ginger easily. So
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh
that'd
yeah.
be cool.
Because we already had something set up for New York City already, and then I gotta be open for New York City show because we're pending some announcements for that. But guys,
Hey, and Ginger speaks English too, so it might be one of the more easy interviews for you guys.
I will drop
Fair
the
enough.
Bloodywood interview later today, guys. Just gotta trim it up a little bit and make sure it's cool with the management, and then we'll get that posted today. They do have some cool little insights about the rest of the tour that we want to share with you. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Remember, we do
ConConGate? Hashtag ConConGate? I don't know.
all right. So Nemophila, we have Tamu on drums, from Nemophila, and she has been putting up. I forget that she has her own channel. I always forget about this, and she's been posting up, explaining some of the tracks. And we have this one I haven't even listened to yet, so we're gonna play it real quick. But she did an English translation to it, and we're gonna check it out real quick and see what this is about. But it looks like she's requesting for people to, let her know what she should break down next, because she will translate it into English. So this is an English voiceover. It was kind of funny hearing it back, but we'll just do it for everyone.
I wonder if she used
listening to
AI
the
for it.
podcast. Do you think? I think she did use AI for it.
Right? Because nobody was fucking doing this before AI made it easy.
She's like, let me know if there's any other songs you want me to break down. What is another song you would want Tamu to break down from Nemophila? What would be?
I don't know, man. Like, probably one of the ones that doesn't sound like any of like one of like that pop punk song that they have, or like one of the really slow ones. Something that doesn't sound like the ones that they normally do.
I want Dissension.
No, because that's like
their number one.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
How many times do you think they've talked about that before already, man?
Not enough. Yeah, Cham's good friends with Tam.
Dude, I called her last night and I was like, talk about We Love Sweets. And she was like, oh, that's not our song. And I was like, oh shit, sorry, dude.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. All right, here we go.
Hello everyone, today I'd like to talk about something we all love, brainwash.
I think it's her speaking. Is that her speaking?
It's definitely not AI, I'll say that.
It's not AI.
This song was released in 2025 on Nemophila's fourth album, Up of My Eye, and in my opinion, it's one of
This
the
music.
standout tracks. And let me just say, the drums are up.
All right. Just get rid of the background music, Tamu. I'm just saying, please. I keep seeing
Walking
ice
into a
cream
circus.
trucks in my brain coming down the street.
Right?
I'm like,
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
where can I get my SpongeBob popsicle at with the gumball eyes?
I'm not gonna lie, Alan, you know popsicles.
That's just one thing about
It's
Alan is he knows his
insane.
popsicles.
The song is played at 170 BPM and it had a lot of bass drum hits. I actually counted them and there are over 750 bass drum hits in the whole song. Let me explain that a bit.
Okay.
BRAINWASH is pretty short, only 3 minutes and 4 seconds long. There's another Nemophila song called Yale, which is more simple. It's longer, about 4 minutes and 27 seconds. But Yale
She just said that song's
only
more
had
simple.
About 489 bass drum
Which
hits.
one?
So
I don't know which song
let's
she's talking about.
compare.
Brainwash.
Yeah.
Oh, she's talking about 2 songs.
Yeah, she's comparing it to the other one, but she's saying
To
Brainwash
Yale.
is more simple.
I don't know what Yale is. I've
I don't
never
think
heard
I've
that
heard
song.
Yale.
I don't think that was articulated to our American ears properly.
Yeah, I don't know. All right.
Yale has around 109 hits per minute, but BRAINWASH, it jumps up to 255 hits per minute. That's more than
Damn.
double.
Wow.
Yeah, Brainwash is fucking heavy and
until
fast, man.
Recently, I used to wear the thick platform shoes during live shows.
Oh,
But
that-
once
shit, I
BRAINWASH
didn't know
was
that.
added to the setlist, I decided to retire those shoes. I'll probably
Okay.
Okay, that's pretty crazy because for me, when I do double kicks or drums, I like having my feet on the pedal with nothing in between because I feel like I need to feel the pedal as I'm hitting or whatnot. So it's interesting that she has a thicker in between her foot from the pedal. That's impressive. In my head, it's like crazy because how do you get the feel? You know, obviously she does a great job with it, but that's crazy. So maybe that's just to get the more power, the more heavy weighted down approach, so you can get that power behind it. Maybe that's all I can think of. But yeah, that would fuck me up. I would not be able to do that.
make another video one day to talk more about why I had to make that decision. Anyway, let's talk about today's main focus. The chorus in BRAINWASH has some seriously impactful bass drum parts. This section is definitely one of the key highlights of the song. The tempo
okay.
of this song is 170 BPM, and honestly, for drummers who are used to playing lots of double bass, 170 isn't that crazy fast, I think. But what really makes this song challenging is that you're hitting the snare on the third
So
beat.
just to give you a heads up, a lot of drummers will say 170, but when you divide it in half, that's what we kind of use for music. We will never put the song at 170. So 170, what is that, like 95? Did I have that right? Or a little 85 or something like that. So that's how we do it. So drummers always double time it because it's better to do that so you can have the hits line up a little bit better when you're listening to a metronome.
While the chord cymbals are keeping a steady quarter note pulse. That combo definitely takes the difficulty up a level.
Yeah.
Give it a try. It's super fun.
Okay.
This way of playing keeps my body more stable. When I play 8th note with my hand and hit the snare on beat 2 and 4, it helps me stay balanced. There's another Nemophila song called Dissension, and that one
Hey,
also
there you
had a
go.
lot of fast bass drum parts. The
Yes.
harder the kick gets, the more I remind myself, stay calm, just follow the snare and the cymbals.
And that's a good point. You don't want to tense up. Like I know exactly what she's talking about because as soon as you tense up on double kicks, it gets stiff and then you just start messing up. You have to be relaxed and loose. And it's the same way with super fast picking on guitar. As soon as you tense up, I always tell students you lose your speed. You actually have to relax more and more and more. And it's like a constant battle in your head when you're playing. You have to be like, breathe, because sometimes we'll play these solos or when you're doing super fast double kicks, you like tense up. I've seen Frank do it, and I'm like, bro, just relax, because like when you tense up, you start locking out. You start locking out when you're playing. So it totally totally understand where she's coming from on that.
That's how I stop myself from falling apart on stage. Alright, so let's talk a look
Easier
at
said than
some
done,
live
though,
footage
when you have people,
where
a lot of people watching
I talk
you.
through a few things. This is from one of the shows during the
copyright
Apple of
coming.
My Eye tour. The songs start with a drum fill. So it's really important to get
think we'll be
that
good.
part right. Also, there's this really quick moment right after. And that's your
Hear how clean that
chance
double
to
kick is, though?
reset your body.
The double kick is so clean.
If you go too hard on the very fast double bass bust, you'll be tired in no time. So keep your cool and pace yourself, especially with these kick drums.
I really
This is
love that
Brainwash.
she did the voiceover.
Another things to watch out for. There's a fill that happened midway through the first bus. It goes kind of like dicodec. You get 2 hand-foot combo flatters on beat 3 and 4 of the bar. And there's the cat.
I just gotta say, I love hearing somebody else explain their version of drum sounds. You know, I mean, because I go, you know what I mean? Like everyone has their own version of like how they pronounce it. That was cool here.
I'm also a little sad that the music stopped. I was kind of vibing with it. I mean, I was annoyed at first, but then I was like, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Once I realized where in the song they were, I was like, oh yeah, brainwash. I love that song. It's badass.
Most people are used to doing hand, feet, right? But this will actually starts with the feet first. And yeah, if you don't start with your feet, it just doesn't feel right. That part's super important to nail in this song.
All right, just
actually-
to avoid the copyright stuff. Go check out the video. I'll link it in the description after we put out the full podcast. So go check it out. That's really cool. I didn't know she was going to go through all that breakdown or whatnot. I wasn't sure what she's going to do. She's going to pull up tracks or whatnot. But that's badass that she's going through her technique. You know, any drummers out there, I think they'll love this, especially if they're drummers and Nemophila fans. I'll have to show Frank this. I know he likes Nemophila a lot.
Yeah, I love that she's talking about it in a way that's like, if you're a musician, you know what she's talking about. Like, just, you know, it's very basic stuff. But if you're not a musician, you could also understand it. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how I talk about stuff because, like, I don't actually understand how to say things in musicianese. So I just like talk about it so that other people can understand it like I do. And she's kind of you could tell she's dumbing it down a little bit just so that everybody understands what she's talking about. You know, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, super relatable. Like she hit on a lot of points that musicians struggle with too when learning stuff, especially when you're doing speed runs on anything.
Yeah, like she's talking about like what parts of the bar she's on, like what, you know, she's hitting on the 3 and the 4 with the hands and blah blah blah, and then she switched it over to, you know, the feet started before the hands, and it's like that's all stuff that we can all understand, you know, like regardless of your expertise in the music industry. So she's doing, you know, instead of just saying things in a way that like only musicians would understand, because clearly she can if she wants to, you know. So I respect that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, she kind of lost me when she said, you know, most drummers go hand, feet. I'm like, do they now? I didn't know that. That's awesome. Good for them. I thought it was all at the same time. I didn't realize that you prioritize.
Shay's like, I prefer them to go feet, hand when I'm with them.
Yeah, I just alternate. Why not foot, hand? I don't know.
I wonder what that would sound like.
I completely agree, though, because from someone who isn't a musician, it's really cool to hear her break it down in a way that even the things I don't understand through the context of the explanation, I do. So
yeah,
good for her. Cool video. I hope she does more.
So Amuse put out some legal stuff about copyright. Thank you all, as always, for supporting Baby Metal.
Okay. I was just gonna say, why don't you remind everybody who Amuse is before you jump into this?
Yeah, I got you. The Baby Metals label, okay, you know, the infamous label that loves their fans and their money. After we made our post yesterday, we received questions relating to personal use of copyrighted artworks. Those questions are common ones that frequently come up from among fans, so please let us take this opportunity to share our view. As a matter of law, reproducing copyrighted artwork in fact constitutes as infringement of copyrights, even when there is no profit from such reproduction, except where, among other exemptions, the notable exemption of personal use applies. So we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. You got to remember, Japanese have a whole different thing on fair use, and I'll talk about that in a second. I have a definition here for you guys, because theirs is very vague considering the U.S. and in consideration to the U.S. is fair use. What people sometimes misunderstand is an important fact that the personal use exemption only applies to uses by the very person who has reproduced the artwork in question and uses by such person's close family members. For example, if one reproduces copyrighted artwork and gives it to a friend for free, it still can be an infringement, even though there is no profit made from such giving, because it is hypothetical case. The recipient is not that person's family member. So apparently you can give it to your family members, but not like, I'll just say everyone's my family member. I wonder if you have to prove it or something. That's what the law, i.e. copyright law.
And where do you draw the
Japan
line? Like,
says.
does brother-in-law count?
Yeah.
Is that a family member?
That's the American in us, though, to say shit like that, honestly, because you know Japanese are going to respect that altogether. You know, we would come up with some loopholes to try to go around it, right? Another point that sometimes confuses people is the fair use justification. As opposed to United States copyright law, Japanese statute does not recognize such broad justification, which we're all aware of because of Nintendo. Nintendo has made that very clear with a lot of people. Yeah. Japanese statute lists up specific exemptions, one of which is personal use exemption that we explained above. And unless one or more of those exemptions apply, use of the copyrighted artwork is an infringement. Having said all that, obviously for us, fans come first. Yeah, you're making that clear. Therefore, we do not normally enforce our legal rights, even when we have ones, on fans purely supporting our artists. In other words, we don't foresee enforcing our rights against fans as long as the use of our artwork are not being commercialized, monetized, damaged, or exploited for advertising purposes. Our such policy is not anything new, and it is posted on our official website as well. See our response to the fifth question. So again, fans always come first. We would be grateful for your continuing support of BABYMETAL. And then we all know Amuse was not like this in the beginning. They would block a lot of videos, take a lot of them down when they were posting on YouTube. And then they just recently, I think in the past like few years now, started letting up on some of those restrictions on posting videos and things like that. But yeah, so
depends on the video.
It depends on the video. So anything coming from a DVD, wow, anything like that is going to be, you know, scrutinized by them. Also, if you're uploading, you know, and I was guilty about this in the past, I stopped doing it. I was like, you know what, this is wrong. Shouldn't do it anyways. I would post my reaction to concerts and stuff on Patreon. I stopped doing it because it's not worth it for one. It's fun to watch it with you all. I just watch it with you all on Twitch and then just let it go into the ether, you know? But yeah, I don't know but this is Japan's version of the law, you know, compared to the US where it's a little bit different. But when it comes to YouTube, they follow the laws of multiple countries internationally. They do honor it. That's why a lot of people can just get videos taken down and things like that. And if you're wondering, like, well, what about the 5 seconds to 7 seconds? It doesn't matter. You can even put a fucking picture in your video, and they can take it down, and nothing will happen. And nothing will happen.
I think this post is more in reference to merchandise, not necessarily the fair use of their content on videos.
Which is funny because I saw so many fake BABYMETAL shirts yesterday.
Yeah.
I wonder what triggered this in the first place, because they said people were asking
at the
questions.
top. At the top, you scroll up.
Yeah, let me scroll right here. Wait, where's it?
No, you're going down, brother.
Wait.
Like the top of this post.
Yeah, I'm at the top right now.
There you go. That Luca Ettore, I think he's.
E.G. Luca Ettore, the link there, Alan.
Yeah, I just clicked on it.
Yeah, so I guess something happened with him where he reproduced. I think he made some shoes or something that are using the like broken glass imagery of the album cover. I don't know if that's what triggered it. I just saw that on his page when I was looking at earlier. And I guess that the point they're trying to make is, listen, if he wants to custom make some shoes for him, you can do that. That's fair use. That's personal use is what they're saying. But as soon as you try to distribute that or sell it or make it for others, that's where it's infringement.
Yeah.
I think they're just trying to cut down on that so people have to buy their merch.
Yeah, I guess I missed the merch part of it, but I was thinking of it even as a YouTube angle too. I was thinking in my head, a lot of people misunderstand how it works with the YouTube side of stuff, because they can literally, they can take it down for even if you use a photo. Like, actually, all my videos with the thumbnails with Sue in it, they can be taken down if they really want to. They want to.
Well, they don't own the rights to the image of Sue. No one can own the rights to the image of a person.
No, but like,
that's
I'm sorry,
not, they can't take it down for that.
I mean, like the logo and stuff, like using the BABYMETAL logo.
That they can. That they can.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, like, it's just so weird, especially in the YouTube space, because like the fair use clause is like, as long as you're stopping to commentate on the video and not just literally, like, you guys probably remember the channel, the Fox God channel that had a bunch of the live videos. You guys remember that? And then
I do. Yeah.
This was right as I started getting into YouTube, right as I started doing the reaction stuff. I was using all of his videos. Like, I would just go to his page to do reactions to the concert or the specific song or whatever. And I guess he tried to, or she, I have no idea, but whoever it was, tried to upload one of the videos from Legend 43, the DVD that just came out, like an idiot. And they took it down and banned, like, they took down the whole page, like the entire page, years worth of videos, millions and millions of views on the page. Done.
You pushed the envelope too hard, man. Like, there's a line you can't cross.
Because that's copyright. When you're just straight up taking, and I think he had permission from them to post the other stuff. I think that's why it was still up. But like, if you're just copying and pasting the content, that's copyright. But the way that reactors get around it is because we're commentating on it. It's like a news reporter. Like, we're offering our insights on it, and that's where the fair use comes into play,
I guess. But based on what?
Go ahead.
Based on the way that they wrote this, which is, listen, you got to write it in the way that you're going to write it for PR sake or whatever. But like, it doesn't leave a great taste in my mouth, just because it comes off very much as like, hey, we're doing you guys a favor. We could do whatever we want. Like, everything basically is like under our, control. Like, we can say like no to you guys, but don't worry. Like, we're not saying no to everything. Like, go ahead and do your thing.
They make them seem like a good guy, right? They make them seem like the good guy.
It's very much like, and I'm not even saying that like there's a better way to go about this. I'm just saying that the explanation itself comes off very much as like, hey, I know you guys don't like that we did this, but we're allowed to, and don't worry, we won't always. And it just kind of makes it feel like they're propping themselves up, like, hey, it's all good, don't worry, we're not gonna, but it's so vague what they are and allowed to get rid of and blah, 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 that it's like, and if they did take away something that was like, let's say like on the line, getting it back is such a process, a long, drawn out, complicated process that like they can just say like, no, we're getting rid of you, whether it be merch or YouTube or whatever. And then like the amount of fighting that you'd have to do to recover that is so much, so like, I get what they're saying, but it feels too vague and too like, I don't know, like, how are you going to know really based on what they just said? Like,
to me, this is preventing the people that just randomly just knowingly reproduce to make money.
If that's the only goal, right? Like, in this, like, you don't want them to sell and distribute stuff that they could make money on. That makes a lot of sense. But it's the idea that they're like, even if you just like make something and give it to your buddy, like, that feels weird to me. That would be a huge problem.
The fact that they explained it the way they did, it's almost like, listen, we could be complete dickheads about this. We're actually super nice. Like, we're so nice about it.
Exactly.
The Twitch chat made, I guess, as usual, they know more than we do. They were saying that I guess the whole thing, the reason that post existed was someone was trying to sell personalized BABYMETAL towels, probably at shows, and so they probably went after them legally, and that's what sparked it. Which, again, to Champ's point, I get it. Yeah, like
I would
don't
in that
sell
case.
bootlegged shit and expect that the company that deserves that money from the merchandise to not come after you.
Yeah,
But
no.
I think what they're pointing out is like, listen, we're going to come after people who are selling bootlegged merch. We're not going to go after you if you're handing out, free things at concerts as like little knickknacks and gifts. Like,
Yeah.
we could,
Well,
but
sort
we're
of.
not. It's kind of
Sort
what they're
of
saying.
though.
Like, we
Yeah.
could
See,
do
but
it.
I hate that. I hate that we
Yeah.
could, but we're not. Like, I wish they were
Yeah.
just like. I wish the post just focused like, we don't want you to sell stuff with our logo on it. Like, period. Just like, don't do that, and you'll be fine.
Here's the thing.
It's just all the little nuanced things that they added after that, where I'm like, well, now you're telling me that you could get me for this. You're saying we probably won't, but you could, and now I'm scared to do anything.
Well, I got a question for you.
So it worked.
I got a question for you though. So me as a consumer, I want authentic baby metal merch in general. So I will not buy the bootleg. But how many of you are okay with buying the bootleg, or do you do what I do and like I want the authentic baby metal thing? Like, what do you? Because I think there's still most people are going to want the authentic merch.
I think it's the drive behind why you want to purchase it. Like if you just want it so you have the shirt, I think if you're that person, then you're not going to care. You're going to buy it from whatever is the least expensive way to do it. If someone like this is a Bandmade shirt, right? This I got from the Bandmade merch drop back in like March or April. To get this shirt and shipping, this was probably like a $75 fucking t-shirt after shipping. Like it's dumb, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous because of the cost to import. But to me, it wasn't about just getting the shirt. It was I wanted to support Bandmade. Like I wanted to buy their merch from their store and support them.
So here's my thinking though too. I don't think you have to worry. Like there's some artists that don't even do anything about the bootleg because this is their thinking. They think if I make a quality good shirt and it has a specific specifications for that shirt and designed a certain way at a certain quality that I know is reliable and good, the bootlegs are never going to compare to it. And yeah, they might take a little bit of the sales, but in the long term, you're still making good money, and also you're getting free advertisement on top of that with just everyone having more of your shirts. So part of me is like, do you have to worry about it or not? Like if I think about like
merch
the
sales
rent,
are such a big piece of like touring revenue though. Like that's a maybe not for like baby metal specific, but for like the medium-sized bands, like merch sales are huge.
But but people are still going to buy authentic shirts, even on top of the bootlegs, is what I'm saying. But maybe it will cut into their sales. But what I'm saying is like, okay, we take away all the bootleg shirts, right? So now those fans won't have shirts. They won't have any baby metal shirts, nothing. They're not going to buy them because they can't afford them. So.
Also, a lot of time when they come over here,
those are walking billboards you're losing out on. I'm just saying, maybe it could help. There could be some the same argument,
but that's kind of the same argument that we've made about YouTube and like when they block our videos instead of copywriting them, where it's like, okay, you copyright them, you take the cut of it or whatever, you do the half split or whatever they decide to do, but when they block us. Now you've just lost any promotion that we're going to do. So like if I have a channel with 100,000 people that have never listened to baby metal before and we put it on our channel, that should in essence help you get more promotion, especially if you're going to copyright it instead of block it. But if you're going to block it and not let that out there, then you're getting rid of that promotion completely. So it does have like essentially the same kind of idea where it's like even bootleg shirts would help to promote the band, but they're missing out on the direct financial gain that you get from it.
Also, something I'm loving that's been happening on YouTube is how fans have been just fighting against people that are stealing shit, which is awesome.
Yeah,
keep doing that.
Standing up for it.
Yeah, and they should. That should be the case. Like if you're supporting a band, you shouldn't be wanting to hurt them in any way. It's just a matter of like, well, also here's the other thing. Amuse specifically is a publicly traded company. Okay, so they're not answering to baby metal. They're not answering to anybody. They're not even answering to their own CEO. They're answering to the shareholders, the stockholders of this company. So if the stockholders and those people at that big table, that like 12 people that are going to sit around that big table that have the most percentage in the shares, if they say, we don't want anybody distributing anything except for baby metal, that's what the rule is. And the CEO, even the big dog over there, can't change that, so the fact that they're publicly traded is
Yeah, that's
changes
wild.
all of this.
I didn't realize. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, holy shit, they are publicly traded. Like,
I just looked it up right now too, because
yeah.
as we were talking about it, I was thinking about it. Like, who
That
are they
makes
actually
sense.
answering to in that case? Because that Amuse PR statement, like, that has to come from the top right there.
But here's what's weird about it, like, is that it's strange that Amuse is going after people like that, because that costs a lot of money to go after people with bootleg. A lot. Normally, they only do something if it's a significant operation. So it must have been significant enough for them to go after them, since they are publicly traded. Because they won't go after somebody that's just making 5 or 10 shirts or even selling 20 shirts. They go after people that are like selling thousands.
Yeah,
those are the ones they're going afterwards.
I believe the posturing of that tweet is so that they do not have to expend their revenue. I think they probably contacted that person who's selling the towels and pretty much gave the old, threw the big dick on the table speech of like, listen, we can take everything you own, and probably scared them out. And that account apparently got deleted off Twitter or X and all that. But then they posted what they did, and now it's like, all right, these guys are going to start coming after you if you're selling bootleg merch. Don't do it.
Yeah, it sounds more like a warning than anything.
Doom Martin says the Fox God owns all the shares.
What if he was? He's like the majority shareholder owner, and he's doing all of this. He's going to post those videos so that you take it, so that he could take them back down. There you go. That's how you make all the money.
Koba has a big ass say. I bet he has a much smaller say than you guys think.
Yeah, me too.
When it comes to selling, the sales and stuff, I guarantee is a lot less of a say.
It's literally all about who is the majority stockholder. Like, that's all that matters. That person or that group of people get to make all of the decisions.
I wonder who it is. Who is Amuse?
It'll be the board of director. Like, the entire board will be the majority.
Yeah, the board of directors, right? Like, that's usually they've got 51%, and then everybody else is 49%, right?
I think I'm going to go invest in Amuse, as long as they keep BABYMETAL on the team. No, I was kidding. I'm kidding.
It does make a big difference, though, when you're talking about like BABYMETAL is such a big company, such a big group with obviously a massive representation. A lot of the other bands that we talk about on this channel are not publicly traded and wouldn't have to adhere to the same policies that BABYMETAL is. So
CEO Kim Chang-wook with a 77% stake before Shinsegae International acquired 100% stake in August 2024. Wait, what? The remaining 22% was held by the other shareholders, including CJ Alv Young, DX Ventures, and Miri Asset Sage New Technology. That's crazy that companies can have.
So that other company purchased 100% of the shares?
Well, no, 100% stake.
100%
stake into the shares, but it's Shinsegae International acquires 100% stake in Amuse, largest shareholder for Navarre subsidiary. So it's a company that's owning it, which is the CEO Kim Chang-wook.
Is that company publicly traded also?
No.
Wow, so it's a private company that owns a publicly traded company.
Yeah, that happens a lot. There's a lot of
private equity firms get involved a lot.
So it's all up to this guy or this chick, whoever it is, and make all the decisions for him.
That is wild.
What's interesting is since 2021, Amuse has almost halved its stock value. It's had a very steady decrease.
Interesting.
Since 2021.
I wonder why.
It had a little bit of an uptick at the beginning of.
What's forced?
A little bit of an uptick at the beginning of this year, but not much.
Yeah, you're
usually,
right.
Usually
I guess
before
their
an
CEO
IPO,
is Korean. Yeah.
Yeah, but usually before the sale or like initial offering, like you try to stockpile all your cash. You try to not have any debts. Like you try to do everything to make it look as good of a company as possible. So you're probably right. That I wouldn't be surprised if that sale happened in like the end of 2021.
Yeah, I think he said early 2022, right? So if that was the case, then it was because of that.
They bought that, and then they started probably spending money, and that's what caused the valuation to decrease.
Well, it actually makes sense now, knowing that how much it's decreased, why they would actually maybe be a little bit harsher on reproduction and wanting to get their direct money income in a proper way, rather than being more lenient with the fans in that matter.
That's just wild. So, yeah. Well, BABYMETAL's back though, so. What else?
I like the music maybe even more than I did before. So if we're talking about creatively and quality wise, the content is doing fantastic.
Yeah, the content's
Yeah.
staying there. But I think that's because Koba is running that, though, when it comes to the content.
Yeah, I love that. And that's
100%.
one of the things that you're always scared of when there's like a publicly traded company or a purchase within a company, is that they're going to want to be more hands-on with the actual the creative process of it. But it doesn't seem like that's been the case. Unless it was, I mean, it could be like a message from up above to say, hey, you guys should collaborate with more Western artists. That could have been one of the decisions that they made just for the sake of making more money. But even if that was, I support it.
So
I do too.
Amuse,
I support that.
Amuse also has like a big video production and production with distribution of movies and television programs. That's their other big leg. Like arts management is their top thing, but media visual is their second biggest thing that they have. So that's where they're getting probably a lot of the money.
Yeah, I know. From our perspective, we see Amuse as only Baby Metal, but they have a lot of other things. But like, I don't care about any of their other things. I only care about Baby Metal. So.
Yeah,
Accurate.
I mean, they have a Music Group USA. They have Muse Models. They have A Sketch, which is it's a joint venture with KDDI. This is a Japanese record label. So they have They have a Far Eastern TV Entertainment Incorporated, a film production company acquired by Amuse.
Shut it all down.
Yeah.
Shut it all down. Just rename it to Baby Metal Company.
If they went to just Baby Metal, right? Like how many people would like buy shares just because like, oh, I want to buy a piece of Baby Metal stock?
I think we'd find a lot of Westerners actually trying to buy shares more so.
Well, yeah, I was looking. I was like, man, how do I buy a share?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm not buying anything that's in Japan when I don't understand that shit, bro. There's too much stuff that's up in the air for me to feel good about it.
Well, I gotta say, we'll see what happens with Baby Metal going forward. But these concerts have been big, and it's crazy that they're doing a one man in LA. I just didn't, because they've been around for 15 years, right? And they're just still getting bigger. That's just wild.
Yeah.
It's just
know
wild.
what I wonder? I wonder what the payout from like Amuse is to the actual performers in Baby Metal.
Yeah, like what do the girls get paid?
Like, are they millionaires?
I don't know. I hope so, but I don't think so.
They're definitely bringing in millions and millions of dollars for the company. Yeah. But like, if you look at like, anything else, let's say the UFC, for example, they make billions of dollars per year, and the fighters get like a fraction of a percentage of that, but they're the show. So it's like Baby Metal's the show, but they probably only get a fraction of a percentage of that too.
I would not be surprised, and this sounds shitty. I would not be surprised if like they're paid an annual salary and not a percentage, and the annual salary is less than $2.
I got an estimate here. So
USD translated, not yen.
So yeah. This is US dollars. Estimated salaries. There are reports about individual members' past salaries. One source from 2016, so it's 2016, so this could be way higher now. Estimated Sue's salary is around 60,000, and Moa and Yui's was 51,000 back in the day, is what they were estimating.
How long ago was that?
This is 2016. So
so that would actually make sense, I think, for that. For that time period.
Yeah. Amuse manages booking a Baby Metal for live performance and events. A single event may cost $150,000 to $299,000 back then. That was back then, though.
So here's the other thing.
Like $750.
Yeah, so here's the other thing. From what I know about the K-pop industry, which is not that different than the J-pop industry, which Baby Metal kind of, I think they kind of worked from there. Yeah. They sign these 7-year contracts as rookies. Right. And then that's how much they get paid, and they get paid they get their yearly salary, but then they also have to hit a quota of like how much money your band is bringing in before you can make more of that. There are some groups that make $0. They're only getting paid just to live because their band hasn't brought that much back in. And then after 7 years, they renegotiate their contracts. And I assume there's a similar type of thing that goes on with the J-pop industry. I don't think it's 7 years, but I do believe they sign rookie contracts and then have to renegotiate. Yeah. That after Baby Metal, they took off almost instantly. So their bump up must have been pretty good.
Simno said they will be on a percentage now, usually on a salary until early 20s. Is what he said.
Early 20s. Yeah. So that would also mean that like, they probably have like 4 or 5 year contract that they start out with, and then they renegotiate after that. And then they get a big bump depending on how much money the group is making.
Yeah. My guess would be $100K or more for the girls a year is what.
But that's still not enough. Like they should be making legitimately like bare minimum, probably $500K per year. Like each of them.
100K is pretty fucking good. I don't know. I
They
don't know.
might be. It's not for what they're doing. It's not like that. It's good for like average workers, but like when you're being like torn, like they're touring for 6 months of the year, like steady at minimum.
You think it's more than 100K, even with Japan, like the way that?
No. I'm not saying I think it is. I'm saying I hope it is. I hope that they're. I would like to imagine that based off of the performance and the revenue they bring in, right? If we're going to use the whole revenue in, right, the WNBA NBA conundrum, right?
Right.
Then they should be at least on an annual basis 500K base.
That
plus
merch sales.
I would be fucking
plus.
set if I was making 100K a year. Just saying, I was like, I'd be
us too.
chilling.
But you know what, man? Like, we don't have to live the same lifestyle that they do.
True.
They got shit to pay for that we don't have to pay
I'd be
for.
like, fuck. I mean,
like I'm just thinking, like, yeah, it should be like literally
It's a scale. It's a scale.
500K base, and then there should be like they should be getting like a good 25% of that merch.
Shay just gave me the vibes of like, you guys are broke as fuck.
I'm not arguing against that.
Anyways, guys, thank you for tuning in for the podcast. Look out for the Bloodywood interview. It'll be out very shortly. I'm going to get working on that before I have to go do my 3-hour set in 3 hours. All right. Fun.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. All right,
Happy
guys.
Father's Day to you guys. Both of you guys.
Oh, yeah. Happy
Thanks,
Father's
buddy.
Day,
Happy
champ.
Father's Day to you too. You got a dog.
Yeah. And
You
she's
got that.
fucked up right now. So
Yeah.
I'm doing a great job.
Yeah.
Stop throwing it in front of tractor trailers, man.
Yeah. Try not to do that anymore, okay?
Goddamn deers.
Goddamn deers. I was like, wait, there's deers in Dallas? Anyways, y'all have a good one. All right. See you in the next one.
guys.
Ciao.